How we doing? How we doing? This is Destination Denver, Colorado, and today we're taking a deep dive into Englewood, Colorado, one of Denver's original suburbs, and we're starting right now. All right, this is Destination Denver, Colorado. I'm your host, Jimmy Everetson. Listen, if you're interested in learning all the ins and outs, pros and cons to moving to or around Denver, Colorado, then this is a channel for you. So that subscribe button and notification icon popping up on your screen, make sure you click on that as I'm dropping new videos for you each and every week. And listen, as much as I try to get a little creative here on camera, I'm also a licensed mortgage broker covering the entire state of Colorado and team with some of Denver's most talented realtors. And we are helping people move here each and every day. So the number and email you see on your screen, know that I am always the person answering your phone calls, answer your texts, answer your emails, there when and if you need me. Now that we're done with that fun-filled stuff, let's get to what we're here for, and that is a deep dive into Englewood, Colorado. So as I mentioned, Englewood is one of the original suburbs of Denver, Colorado. Founded in the late 1800s, incorporated in 1903, Englewood is located dead south of Denver, roughly 10 to 15 minutes if you're driving out of Denver on Broadway, which then turns into South Broadway. And South Broadway will eventually run through basically the heart of Englewood. Englewood has a population of roughly 33,000 people. It's about 6.6 square miles of territory. So it's a smaller suburb in comparison to others nearby it, like Lakewood, where I live, Littleton to its west. But when you look at Englewood, you're gonna see that history we talk about. I mean, you talk about a place that was founded over 100 years ago, and it was originally farmland. And so you get a taste of that, but these homes that have been built over the last 120, 130 years, they give you more variety than you're gonna see in a lot of areas. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean that you're going to see some detached homes ranging, again, in age, not just decades, but over a century in age. You're gonna see different lot sizes. Some of them will be, I've noticed, a lot of narrow lots that are long. So the front yard has decent size to it, backyard is narrow but long. A lot of brick builds. And that variety also shifts as we go through time. So you'll have some homes that have been around for 100 years. You've got homes that have been remodeled or gutted and completely restored. And then you've also got places that have been, whether it was empty land that was built on, or it was a home that was what we call scraped, just taking down the entire house and building new. So you'll have this great variety where there's a lot of different types of homes to explore and everything you could need, from detached, townhomes, apartments, condos. One of the things that I like about it, it always reminds me of neighborhoods from my childhood in southern Colorado, is that a lot of the homes, they don't have a driveway. Instead, there's an alley behind the homes. Not a super unique thing, but alleys behind the home, and those alleys, typically in the backyard, people will have a lot of 1 or 2 car garages, brick builds for the most part. So no driveway in the front, you pull up through the alley, pull into your garage. It's a detached garage, obviously. You walk through your backyard into the house, but something that is pretty common in these Englewood neighborhoods. And so the city, or the suburb itself, is fond of 30 parks or so. 3 of the best ones that you're gonna wanna check out. You've got Centennial Park, you've got Miller Field, and Bellevue Park is one of the most popular, especially for kiddos if you're getting them out and about, and adults too, because it's got miniature golf. We know how much adults love that, but it's also got a train ride. And at the end of the day, I'm not gonna sit here and tell grown adults to go on a train ride. It could be a blast for you, especially if you involve alcohol, you never know, but Bellevue Park is definitely a place you're gonna wanna check out. And so Englewood's gonna be popular for several reasons. It's had an up and down history, there's no doubt. My brother-in-law, who is only a few years older than me, grew up in Englewood, went to Englewood High School, and at that time he always talked about how Englewood was a place that didn't have the best reputation growing up. And I think that growing up in Lakewood, where I am, similar things. There were certain neighborhoods where people didn't think the best of them, but Englewood, in my humble opinion, has been on the rise. It's become more and more of a popular place. And one of the big factors for its popularity is that location, being as close as it is to Denver. Englewood, at the end of the day, borders Denver itself, It's within, maybe 10 to 15 minutes, I should say, of Denver. And it also has a lot of easy access points. So you've got Broadway running through the heart of it, South Broadway running through the heart of it. South Broadway is going to connect you as well to Hamden or 285, which runs east and west. And so 285 leaving Englewood is going to be an easy access point for residents to get into the mountains. It's also going to take you over to Santa Fe, which can then quickly get you into downtown Denver far faster than just taking Broadway itself. And Englewood's also really close to I-25, very close to 225. So whether you're getting over into Aurora, whether you're heading up into Denver, whether you need to get south, you have quick access points wherever you look. And Englewood really gives that blend, right? You're close enough to the city where you have all of those amenities. You have easy access to the mountains if you're into more of that. You have nature. So it gives you that good flow. We call it that suburban urban feel, and Englewood's very solid for that. Now, this is both exciting and something I enjoy talking about, and also something that breaks my heart. So in Englewood, they have a downtown area. It's a strip of road, again, along South Broadway. But they also have their civic center. They've got an art museum right there. They've done a lot of development along Hamden or along 285, this main strip of road. Now, why I say it's kind of heartbreaking is when I was a kid, just a few years ago, there was this great mall called Cinderella City. And it was just a great place for people to go and hang out in. And we're talking about when I was like earlier than teenage years. So when I say they had a magic shop where you could buy stuff like fake poop, I don't know. I was a kid. What do you want from me? But Cinderella City had a great arcade. I'm just getting all nostalgic. Now, none of that is there. Instead, they've got a civic center. They've got a huge rec center. They've got a lot of restaurants and different shops, and just a great place for just about anything you need, whether it's shopping, food, exercise. There's a great 24-hour fitness there. They've got some outdoor areas, a memorial within it. So that area has really been developed to become a hub of Englewood. And Englewood is also home, not just in that development, but others, for some pretty big companies. So you've got within that Arrow Electronics, you've got Dish Network, you've got Wells Fargo, among others. So that hub has really become a key component of what Englewood is. Now there's also a little confusion. I've had some folks say, well, isn't Englewood part of Cherry Creek School District? So as we talk about schools, it is not. It is not. So Englewood is its own school district. They handle their own preschools, K through 12. Englewood High School being their major high school. Again, it's where my brother-in-law went. And I mean, he seems pretty educated to me. I kid. He is, but I mean, I kid about that. As far as Cherry Creek, I'm going to show you here on a map. So basically right where Englewood cuts off, that begins moving to the east, Cherry Creek School District. So I would imagine it might be pretty easy for your kids to get into a Cherry Creek school if that is something that you really desire. Cherry Creek gets very high school ratings. Within Englewood, you will be in an Englewood school district. And for what it is worth, again, I always stress to people, do your due diligence when it comes to schools. Niche.com, schools.com, a couple had Englewood rated in the C's as far as school. Now, again, that is something that there's a lot of public schools, there's a lot of private schools where they get those ratings, but they are basically in the middle ground, if you will, as far as school ratings for the Englewood School District. And as far as, we talk about that big hub, as far as the downtown area along South Broadway, great walkable strip, a lot of places to check out, a lot of history, and Englewood has that. Again, that flow to it. I don't think you can look at a community as small as Englewood is that has been around for, again, 130, 140 years. 1860 is when they really started changing these farms into homes and really starting to build this community. And so you get that sense. And there's a lot of those, historical signs where, a property cannot be changed or has to be maintained. And you see that throughout, and that downtown area really gives you a sense of that too. And obviously, I think a key component of deciding where you're going to live, period, is not just location, but also that affordability issue. So one of the things that has kept Englewood in a lot of conversations more recently is that affordability factor. Certainly the age of some homes, the areas you're going to be in, rents tend to be a bit cheaper than neighboring suburbs like Littleton, like a Greenwood Village, like a Centennial. Home costs, the same way. Not a crazy amount. And listen, there are times where we talk about the median home price at a given time, but the fact is, if you're watching this, it is currently April of 2023, and if you're watching this video in November of 2023, any data I give you is not going to be very helpful. But affordability at this time tends to be higher in Englewood than a lot of the surrounding communities, especially when you talk about being that close to Denver. So overall, you've got a lot of great neighborhoods, a lot of good places to explore, a lot of things to do within Englewood, not just on a personal level, on exploration, parks and things, restaurants, cafes, but also work. There's a lot of industry within Englewood. You've got a suburb that gives you a lot of access, whether you're getting downtown, mountains, heading south, you can get in and out of Englewood very easily. And when it comes to that livability, walkability, you've got a variety of just about any type of home you are possibly looking for. And again, as I mentioned earlier, it's responsible for my brother-in-law being, at least to some extent, the man he is. And he's one of my favorite human beings. So that is pretty solid kudos for Englewood right there. But there's probably only one way to truly know if Englewood is for you, and that would be to explore it. The second way would probably be to have a conversation with me about whether Englewood's right for you. So that is why the number and email is popping up on your screen. Know that I'm always the person answering your phone calls, answering your texts, answering your emails, there when and if you need me. This is Destination Denver, Colorado. I'm your host, Jimmy Everts. That was Exploring Englewood, Colorado, one of Denver's original suburbs. Until I see you next time, peace.